First book of the Bible, you don't really need to look very long. Book of Genesis. Book of Genesis. 7th chapter. Genesis, the 7th chapter. We're going to start at verse 12. The book of Genesis, the 7th chapter. Beginning at verse 12. If you bring this time, you can do as your custom dictates. The book of Genesis, chapter 7, verse 12. It reads like this. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. I want you to skip down to read chapter 8, verse 1. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. I'm going to read that again if you don't mind, in the verse 12. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Chapter 8, verse 1. And God remembered Noah, every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. That's enough. As we intend to celebrate today the relationship of pastor and people, for the brief time that we have to share these few moments, I want to pose a question to Dr. Clark and to his family, to all the people here today, by asking, can you stand the rain? Can you stand the rain? If you know anything about 80s music, 80s, 90s R&B music, you know that the title of my sermon is not developed from my own intellectual ability. You know that the title of my sermon is developed from a song by New Edition. I need you for the time that we have together to drop your heavenly halo and your angelic appearances, but I ask you to go back to 1988. You know the song, you know who New Edition is, that you know about Bobby and Michael and Ronnie and Ralph and Johnny. You know New Edition. This is now in 1988 their sophomore album, Heartbreak. You mostly know them for the song in 84 recorded Candy Girl. But it's 1988 and they recorded this in their sophomore album, Heartbreak. Can You Stand the Rain? You heard the lyrics. Yes, sir. Sunny days. Sunny days. Everybody loves them. Baby, can you stand the rain? Yes, sir. They are articulating through their lyrical expression this idea that relationships take work. Everything is not built on a sunny day. Everything is not built when things are going well. But they ask the question, can you stand the rain? That's interesting because we often sometimes base our success off sunny days. We base how well we're doing in life based off sunny days. Based off when we have money. Based off when things are going well. Based off when we have a job. When we have security. When we have love. We base our life and our life success on when it's sunny. But the existential question is not whether or not we can stand a sunny day, but it's can we stand the rain. And as today, as we celebrate this relationship between pastor and people, the question, Dr. Clark, to you is not can you stand today, but can you stand tomorrow? After the flowers and the fanfare and the cards and the money are gone, how will you stand tomorrow?
That's right.
How do you stand Sundays when you don't have an amen call?
All right now.
How do you stand getting up in the middle of the night to go visit someone who is ill? How do you stand the difficulties of ministry and managing family? Today is simply a celebration, and we should celebrate, but the question is, can we stand the rain? This is an interesting question because it provides that we need to understand that in life there will be rain. Don't care if your name is Donald Trump or Warren Buffett, rain comes to you. Matter of fact, if you picked up the paper last week, you would find that Warren Buffett lost $2 billion in 2 days. I don't care if you're rich. Don't care if you're poor. Rain will come. That's the existential question today, that rain will come in our lives, and so will storms come in our lives. That's how we do these things. That's how God and life works. Rain will come, and the question still presents itself this morning: can you stand the rain? And that's where we find ourselves this morning within the entry of our text this morning. We find ourselves with Noah. This is a foretold story. You learned this story in Sunday school. You learned how Noah was the only righteous man on earth. And you learned how God had selected and picked and placed Noah, and that he was going to destroy the earth, and Noah and his family are to be saved. At the point of entry of our text this morning, the formalities of the situation have already passed. And they're in the ark with the animals. But the question then becomes, it begins to rain. And the question is, as we understand where Noah is why would God bring the rain? Why would he bring it at this moment? But let's go back, let's backtrack a few moments. God selects Noah, God picks Noah, and then God decides that he wants to end this earth situation. Decides that he wants to destroy the earth, and that the design in which life and humanity had at this moment is not a definitely good design. So God picks Noah, says he's the only one righteous, and God decides to destroy the earth. He destroys the earth by rain, which causes a flood. Now the question is, as we look at this thing, why would God pick and place Noah, put him inside an ark, cause it to rain, then by result of the rain, it caused a flood?
Come on now.
And sometimes I suggest that as life is, sometimes God will pick and place us out of situations. He'll pick us out of a good situation, put us in a bad situation, bring the rain, bring the storm, and by result of the rain,
Come on now.
not only do we have to deal with the rain, but we've got to deal with the flood. Doesn't he know that life was going good before he picked me?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't he know things were going well before the relationship went bad? Doesn't he know everything was cool before the job offer came up?
That's right.
Why in the world would he take me out of a good thing, put me in a bad thing, and then by result of the bad thing, I got to deal with a worse thing?
Come on.
That's interesting right there. Why would God take me out of a good thing, put me into a bad thing, and then by result of the bad thing, have to deal with the result of a worse thing? Can we stand the rain? That's where we find Noah this moment, because the issue is not necessarily that God put Noah, and Noah went on vacation for 40 days and 40 nights. But he had to be a 3-deck ark that is by 100 cubits, by 50 cubits, by 30 cubits, full of people and animals. Can you smell it? Can you see it? Everybody's in the same living quarters. The donkeys are sharing the meals with Noah's family. The lizards are sharing the meals with Noah's family. They're all in this convoluted, compressed space together. And not only does it rain for 40 days and 40 nights, but by result of the rain, they have to deal with the earth being flooded for 150 days. If my math is correct, and I wasn't good at math, but that means that for over 6 months, they are in the result of being in a compressed space with animals. that's a bad situation. That's a messed up situation in this moment. And the question still becomes, can you stand the rain? And knowing that God always has a method to his name. Knowing God always has a plan to his ways. We all suggest that this issue, this situation is not for naught. This situation is not just for Jesus' or God's pleasure, but it's simply a purpose. A purpose for something that is to be better served. A purpose for something that is supposed to be done. There was a purpose for the rain. And I suggest there are a few purposes I got to go, and I promise I'll be out your way. But the first purpose that we have in answering the question of can we stand the rain is that the rain provides relaxation. The rain provides relaxation. Surely you know that when it rains, you get sleep. Surely you know when you're at work and you see the raindrops on the windowsill, you want to go to sleep. But as it relates to Noah in this particular situation, what happens in this moment is that Noah is finally at one place at one time. See, before this storm, before the flood, Noah was a normal human being. He had time to split with his family. He had time to spend at work, and he had time to do the things in which a normal person does. But after God meets him and calls him and picks him out, his time is certainly occupied. Because after God picks him, he tells him to go preach. And after he goes on this preaching tour, he has to go home and he has to do what? Build an ark. So for the next 100 years of his life, what happens is that he's either gone preaching or he's building an ark. So what happens when he gets into this compressed space with people and these animals? He has no choice but to relax. God tells him, he knows he's going to be in here for the long haul. He has no choice but to relax. And sometimes when rain and storms come in our lives, God sends it not for us to learn something and not for us to get something, but he brings it just because we need to relax. Life is continuing to beat up on us and we become consumed by trying just to make it day by day. So when storms come, God isolates us and God makes us and puts us in situations where we have no choice but to relax. I never shall forget the story how my grandmother, even till today, sometimes when it rains, she'll say, turn off the TV, turn off everything. Let's go to bed. God's will. It never occurred to me why she would do that. Certainly didn't she understand that people have work and stuff to do? And the response you would get is that that was just how I was raised. But it didn't hit me until I read a slave narrative. And the slaves in the antebellum South, what would happen is that as they would pick cotton and churn the crops of the field, what would happen is that it would begin to rain. And by result of the rain, because the rain was more important than them picking the crop, and that they needed the rain for the crop to develop, the only time they had to rest was when it rained. The only time that they had to realize they were working 12 and 15-hour days with no pay, under flagellation, with little or no food. The only time they could rest and reconnect with their families was during the rain. And in this situation, in this moment, God provides Noah an opportunity to relax and finally release. But the rain has another purpose aside from relaxing. But the rain also, can we stand the rain also because the rain provides reconnection.
That's right.
The interesting part about this correlation or this relationship with Noah in this situation is that we never get an idea of what Noah's family life is like. Can't you see it? He's been preaching for 100 years. He's been building this ark for 100 years. His time is consumed. Surely he missed some of his son's baseball games. Surely he missed some parent-teacher conferences. Surely he missed some family dinners. He has lost connection with his family. And sometimes I think that the rain and the storms that life bring us in life are meant for us to reconnect with either something or either someone. Sometimes when rain and things come in our lives, God provides an opportunity to refocus our attention. Sometimes when we're in for the long haul of a storm and inside the eye of a storm, God would pause it and God would pull us and God would push us to reconnect with someone we lost along the way. Certainly, sometimes as we try to climb the ladder of success, sometimes God brings us down and puts us in a door only for us to reconnect with somebody we dropped along the way. Sometimes the realities of life will pull us and push us only for us to reconnect with God. Sometimes as we do these things and we work in our lives, God would provide opportunities for us to reconnect because we missed something. As we've been elevated, as we've learned, as we've moved, God has provided opportunities because we've lost something on the way. God mandates that we need to reconnect sometimes. And surely, Dr. Clark, as we do ministry, sometimes there are sacrifices to be made. Some dinners that are going to be missed. Some opportunities, some vacations that won't be taken. Some outings that will be missed. Sometimes in life, God will provide us opportunities to reconnect. And if my math is correct, if they were in the ark at least 6 months, Noah has more than enough time to reconnect. Because notice, he ain't going nowhere. He's in there for the long haul. He's in there right now. And if he has 6 months of where he's not going anywhere, he has an opportunity to reconnect. And sometimes where it feels like God has put us in a storm for a long period of time, sometimes it's only for us to reconnect. We may need to reconnect with mama, or we may need to reconnect with daddy, or we may need to reconnect even with God. But he puts us so we need to reconnect with someone or something. The rain has its purposes. God wants us to relax. God wants us to reconnect. But can we stand the rain also, because the rain provides what I call restlessness. Can you imagine being in this ark for 6 to 8 months at a time? Can you see, can you smell, can you see the conditions in this ark? Can you see the routine in which Noah has got? And God sometimes provides restlessness for us because sometimes we become comfortable and we build a routine. Sometimes in life, as we are in the eye of the storm and as we are in the eye of the rain, we become used to the rain. We become used to things going bad. We become used to things going south. We become used to things going wrong. And then as we have become used to things going wrong, we then we develop a routine. We develop a routine of how things are done. That's right. And then we have become complacent. And can't you see Noah in this moment? He's been in this ark 6 to 8 months. And can't you see at 8 o'clock feed the animals, 10 o'clock have breakfast with my family, 12 o'clock have meeting, 3 o'clock feed the animals again, 3 o'clock have dinner with my family, 6 o'clock feed the animals again. It's a routine. Noah becomes routine. And I can only help if I was in an ark for 6 months with no air and no fresh water. Then sure that I would become restless. And sometimes in life, in the midst of an eye of a storm, in the midst of having a storm, in the midst of the rains of our life, God makes us restless. And when I say restless, that means we're not comfortable where we're at. That's right. We don't want to be where we're at. We want to go higher. We want to move. We want to go to a different job. We have bigger ambitions. We have bigger plans. We have more ideas for our life. God doesn't want us to be complacent, but sometimes he sends us a spirit of restlessness. And sometimes I wish that the church would develop a spirit of restlessness. We have become complacent in our tradition. We have become complacent in where we live. And sometimes we say it don't take all of that. Or sometimes we say the times haven't changed. But if I serve a God, my God extends beyond the division. this moment that we need to be rested.
That's right.
And sometimes in the eye of a storm, sometimes as it rains in the ideas of our life, God would make us restless. So the rain is good because it provides relaxation. The rain is good because it provides reconnection. The rain is good because it provides restlessness. I told you, I'm a preacher of the good news. So there's some good news. The rain is good because it provides restitution. Don't you see it? Restitution, before you say that's a big word, is defined as a reward or a penalty because of something that has been previously suffered.
That's right.
So in chapter 8, verse 1, it says, and God remembered Noah. And that's interesting that after being in this ark for 6 to 8 months, after smelling all these interesting smells in an ark for 6 to 8 months, after developing a routine for 6 to 8 months, after going through and becoming complacent in where I am for 6 to 8 months, after experiencing rain for 6 to 8 months, after not only having to deal with the rain but deal with the flood for 6 to 8 months, then God decides He wants to remember Noah. And before we would say that I would have issue with God for putting me in an ark for 6 months, before I would have issue with God putting me in the situation for a longevity of time, the good news is that God is a God that provides restitution. Don't you see it? It says, and God remembered Noah. And by result of God remembering Noah, God caused a great wind that would remove the water, and the waters subside. That ought to speak to the power of God, that for whatever God calls, the minute He remembers, He can turn the situation around. That for everything you suffer, in a moment, at a flash, God can turn the situation around. And I can usually shout just about God providing restitution and them leaving the ark, but after they left the ark, they saw something beautiful. They saw a rainbow. If you want to go into the scholarly terms, a rainbow is the covenant with God. That because Noah had suffered this thing with God, God gave him a covenant and a sign that I would never do it again. Never do it again, but it made everything worthwhile. And that ought to be how we approach our life. Can we stand the rain because God will make it worthwhile? Can we stand the rain because the rain will grow us? Can we stand the rain because the rain provides us? Can we stand the rain because the rain means something to us? Can we stand the rain because God's got the power to do everything at one time? Can we stand the rain because weeping may endure for us? Can we stand the rain because I serve a God that has all power? Can we stand the rain because yet they slay me? I will trust Him. Can we stand the rain because God will make a way somehow? Can we stand the rain because God will work everything out? But I would suggest through the history of time, God has made a tradition of people standing in the rain. Can I call the roll? With the idea that you said you were going to make me the father of many nations. I dealt with the rain of people talking about me. And I dealt with the rain of people looking at me funny. But yet, at the moment's time, you sent Isaac, who literally meant laughing. Can we talk about Moses? Moses testified, God, you took me out of a good situation. Made me leave Egypt. Exiled me from Egypt. Brought me to Midian. I got married. Everything was going fine. But then you made me encounter this burning bush. For whatever reason, I had to deal with Pharaoh. But at a moment's time when I saw Cain, you made everything work. Life is about having rainy days, but lastly, I got to leave you, but there's a place we know that it rained 3 days. And at the moment song, can I go there? Can I go there? On Friday, from 6 to 9, it was raining. As Jesus was before the high priest, and Jesus was before the rulers. It was raining. That was the weather report of that day. As he hung on Nazareth's tree, and as he was hung high and stretched wide, it was raining. It was raining rained from 6 to 11 as he hung up from the 6th to the 9th hour. It was raining. Mary was standing in the rain. And the people saw this crucified Jesus in the rain. And it rained Friday night as they put him into a borrowed tomb. It's raining as they put him in Joseph of Arimathea's tomb. It's raining Saturday morning as he's still dead. It's raining all day Saturday. He's still dead. But somewhere, Saturday morning, the stars gave way to the clouds. Sunday morning, the sun gave way to the moon. The sun began to shine. And I don't know about you, but on Sunday morning, it just wasn't the sun, but it was the sun. That for a little while longer, I can stand the rain. Everybody in here, for a little while longer, I can make it a little while. Everybody in here says the stormy days won't last always. Everybody in here tonight testify that God will make a way. Everybody here, I can hold out a little while. God will make up for it. Everybody here tonight testify that I can stand the rain just a little while longer. I can stand the rain just a little bit because God will make a way for everything.